Hey guys, long time no talk to. It's Corinne. Crystal isn't with me today because I haven't really spoken to her. She's off doing her own thing, but that's okay. So I decided last night that I really wanted to get this podcast going again. So I've been in the middle of watching Night Court. Yes, the original, and yes, I am watching the new one. But I decided that I wanted to do a podcast about old sitcoms from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. I may have seen some of these shows, yes, but I really wanted to sit down and watch old sitcoms because, I feel like I really love the old sitcoms. Yes, the shows today are good, but you do not get a laugh like you do when you watch, old sitcoms, i.e. 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s sitcoms at that. Night Court, belly laugh all the time. I've watched some of, there's a dog eating, I am so sorry. I've watched some of MASH. I've watched Green Acres, belly laugh with Green Acres. I've watched a lot of things, so I really wanted to get down to the nitty gritty and watch shows. I posted on Facebook today and in a couple of chats that I'm in with friends to pick a number between 1 and 36. Some of the shows I can't find where I am at right now. I'm at my cousin's mom's house. I'm dog sitting her dog while she's in Aruba. So I have very limited access to what I can watch. So my dad actually picked number 8, which on my list, I have a list right here. This is my list. He picked number 8. And I don't know if you can see, but number 8 is Taxi. I have seen some episodes of Taxi. Like, I watched it 4 years ago. The only episode that I really did watch was the one where Christopher Lloyd's character, Jim, goes for his license test and he asks everybody, what does a yellow light mean? And everyone tries to tell him slow down. And it was like the funniest thing I ever seen, like back then. So I wanted to see if I got the same laughs with him, with the show before he was on it. And let me tell you, I just watched the first episode tonight while I was sitting here on my phone because it's on Paramount Plus and she on the TV back here doesn't have Paramount Plus. So I watched it on my phone. And let me tell you, I was laughing hysterically. I actually wrote some notes down. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I wanted to have Taxi be the first one I did. I really wanted Night Court, but I want to watch Night Court all the way through and then go back to watch it because it's really funny. And I think it's like my favorite sitcom from, I think it started in the 80s. Let me look, hold on. I have my note here. Night Court, 1984 to 1992. So yeah, I'm going to go back to that. But now, this is all very new to me. Like, I did a Vampire Diaries rewatch podcast. I did a Schitt's Creek. And I didn't like how they came out. I had its own like little sections, but I really wanted to do one under I'm a Potato Production, so you can just like scroll. Having like 7 or 8 or 9 different podcasts was like ridiculous. So without further ado, Taxi, season 1, episode 1, Like Father, Like Daughter. I'm gonna read a synopsis just in case you haven't watched Taxi in a long time or have never seen Taxi. So the synopsis: Alex and the guys drive a taxi from New York to Miami so that they can see his daughter whom he hasn't seen in 15 years before she leaves for school in Portugal. New York to Miami. I've personally driven from New York to Palm Coast with my parents, and each of us did a very long drive. Oh, sorry, I just hit the mic. We each did like 3-hour legs, or maybe it was 6-hour legs. I don't even remember. But there's no way they could have made it in time to get from New York to Miami in a day. I mean, you could, but you would have to be going so fast. But again, it was the 70s. I don't know what traffic was like in the 70s because I wasn't born then. So in this episode, Judge Hirsch, who's Aelx, Jeff Conway, I know him as Kenickie, but you guys know him as Bobby. Danny DeVito as Louie. I know him as the father of Matilda, and oh god, he was in Hercules. He played the little goat in Hercules. Marilu Henner played Elaine. Tony Danza was Tony Banta. Randall Carver, John Burns, Andy Kauffman, oh my god, as Latka. He's going to be my favorite. I can already tell that right now. I'll let you know what I mean. I'll tell you what I mean. And Talia Balsam as Cathy. Also in it, I saw Rhea Perlman, who is Danny DeVito's wife. I don't know if they're still married or what, but she played John's voice girlfriend. If that makes any sense. I didn't understand it either. But okay. So this episode first aired on September 12th, 1978. The theme song, I felt like I was going to fall asleep because it was like a nice little like lullaby, and I love lullabies. I listen to ASMR when I go to bed. So, first person I heard, Danny DeVito. I can picture who it was without seeing him because he has such a distinct voice. Such a distinct voice. What I don't really get is Tony Danza, he was talking about boxing somewhere. Why is he a boxer and he's a cab driver? I don't know. Maybe down the line, they'll tell the backstory. Again, it was the first episode. Did not know much about Tony Danza. Then Aelx, I think, right? Aelx is his name. Yeah, Judge Hirsch. Aelx brought back, one of his people that was in his car, taxi, driving around because he didn't have change of a 50. What taxi driver do you know has change of a 50? I mean, back then, probably. I don't know if they did or not. I don't know. But he was cheap AF. Cheap AF. Wanting to get change. I think it was $4.25. And all the cab drivers knew that 15% was 73 cents. Did they all get tipped 73 cents? That's cheap AF. Come on, guys. Be better. Also, there were some parts in the first episode where the laugh track, I feel like, was forced. I know some people don't think there's a laugh track, but if you watch sitcoms, there's always a laugh track. It's usually filmed in front of a live studio audience, from what I have researched and everything. Kenickie. But not Kenickie. Bobby. Bobby wants to be an actor, but he's working as a taxi driver. I guess it's the same concept as in New York. I forgot. The Starlight Diner, I think, is the name of the restaurant in New York where the people who want to be on Broadway sing in the Starlight Diner in hopes to be picked up to act on Broadway. Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. I'm going to keep calling him Kenickie because I love Grease and he was my favorite character in Grease. So if you hear me say Kenickie instead of Bobby, I am very, very sorry. But I've known him all my life as Kenickie. The broken phone. That cheap guy, of course, cheap guy finds the phone that you just put the quarter in, or however much it was, maybe 5 cents. I don't know how much it was back then, into the payphone, and you can call anywhere. The call that Tony Danza, sorry, I'm going to call him Tony Danza, even though his name is Tony Banta. He's always going to be Tony Danza to me. That's it. Tony Danza. I'm going to call Bobby Kenickie. I'm going to call Tony Danza Tony. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. Tony called Bangkok, I want to say. I forgot. I didn't write it down when I was watching. But he was a war vet. I feel like he's kind of young to be a war vet, but you know, again, TV. I can't nitpick everything. I watch way too much TV to nitpick the nitty gritty of everything that's going on. I just wanted to do that. Danny DeVito, Louie, plays always plays the same character. Same roles and everything. That role as Louie is the father in Matilda. He plays the caller for the cabs or taxis in Taxi. In Matilda, he was a car salesman. Say that 5 times fast. I can't. But it's always the same role. He has that. He's a. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He is always set in that role. I forget the word I'm looking for. If I remember it, I'll say it next time I record. Marilu Henner. Perfect person to play Elaine because she bounces off everybody. She works so well off of Danny DeVito. So well. I was laughing hysterically at the scene where she first comes in and says that she's going to be the taxi driver, the new taxi driver, and Danny DeVito just goes crazy on her saying, Why'd you make me think you were an actual person? Get in line. I'll call your number when it's ready. I laughed hysterically. I almost fell off the recliner back there. It was so funny. The jokes. Cannot do these jokes now. If this show was made today, it would be taken off the air with the jokes that were said. I should have wrote them down, but I was laughing too hard and my pen just kept going off my notepad. The people I got the most laughs from were Louie, Elaine, and Latka. What the hell language is Latka speaking? Is it gibberish? Is it a language that Andy Kauffman made up just for that role? Was it? I have no idea. But it is crazy. And then when he says, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I feel like that is so funny. That is going to be his catchphrase. Yeah, his catchphrase. I have things about catchphrases that I love. When I get to Night Court, I will tell you the catchphrase, Cooper, stop. I will tell you the catchphrase that I love that the judge does. I love Judge Stone. He is hysterical. When Danny DeVito or Louie gets... Shush! Do you want to go outside? Excuse me for 1 second. I am so sorry. Okay, sorry. Dog wanted to go out. I shouldn't have done this while I was here, but I wanted to get this out. So that's what I'm doing. I'll be back and forth. I am so sorry. When Alex asks Louie to take a cab from New York to Miami after he spoke to, I guess, his ex-wife on the phone, asking where his daughter was and everything, just having him. If you didn't know who he was when you first saw the show, you would think he was a tall guy just behind the cage. But, oh my God. Little baby Danny DeVito with the tall, 6 feet men. Him getting so stirred. It's like a little kid trying to scold their parents. It's hysterical. Cathy, when Alex finds Cathy in the airport, Cathy is his daughter. He asked the attendant if she knew anybody on the flight, and he asked if Cathy was there, and she said yes, she was. She asked if he wanted her to call over the loudspeaker for her, and he said no, if anything like my jeans, I can figure out who she is. He did, which I kind of figured he would, because, 70s TV, it makes no sense to me. but she's just like Alex with a loss of words. They are like two peas in a pod. Alex said the title of the show in the last like 5 minutes when he was talking to Cathy. I love when they do that. I feel like it ties everything together. Everything together. I love when they do that. When she gets on the plane, why does Alex give his driver's license to her? You're a cab driver. You need your license in order to drive a cab. Duh. Happy endings. Love, love, love happy endings. Just love them. They fixed the phone. I was so hoping they weren't going to fix that payphone, because I would have loved to see all those free calls that everybody was going to make everywhere around the world. I was calling him Kaniki. I wrote down in my notes, that's his name, Bobby. He didn't get the part of the horse in Equestrian or whatever it was. I think Daniel Radcliffe got a role in something like that on Broadway. Kaniki, aka Bobby. He's a crybaby. I feel like every single episode he is going to be a crybaby if something doesn't go his way. I will get better at this, I swear. Again, it was my first time doing this, and I am by myself. If I had someone else to bounce stuff off of, I think it would go so much better. But these aren't going to be very long, and I am sorry about that. But I feel like if they're dragged on, I listen to a lot of podcasts that they drag on, not excluding Pod Meets World, because that podcast is hysterical. That's actually what made me want to do this tonight, just to get it, because I was listening to that podcast at work. But I'm going to try to drop a new episode every Tuesday if I can, since I'm at my cousin's mom's house for a whole month. I'm going to try to do it like every day or every other day if I have time. I'm going to try to call my parents or get my dad in on here, because my mom and dad watched these podcasts. He won't know what to say, but if we bounce things off, because we do talk about TV shows a lot, and I feel like if we bounce things off, it would be so much better. So yeah, I swear these would be better. Thank you so much for listening to this mouth here, listening to my voice talk about nonsense for almost 18 minutes. So, this podcast is now under I'm a Potato Productions, is called The One with the Old Sitcoms, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So if you could give this a like and a follow, I would be very greatly appreciated, because this is something that I feel like I'll do better and better as it goes along, because you know me. Well, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Corinne. I majored in film studies in college. I minored in creative writing. I work in insurance now, and I've loved movies ever since I can remember. I watch a lot of movies. I watch millions of TV shows. I should just write down a list of all the TV shows I've ever watched in my life. I would probably fill up more than 100 pages. So thank you all so much for listening. If you have any feedback, you can email me at I'm a Potato Production. Let me just double check. That's right. Sorry. It would be, hold on. I'm giving out like my proper, not my personal email. Only a few people have that. But hold on. Sorry. The internet is fairly slow here. It is, I'm a Potato Productions at gmail.com. Leave a review. Tell me what you liked and didn't like. Overall, I thought this episode was very funny. Some of the humor I don't get. Again, because I wasn't born in the 70s, I don't get it. But I feel like as I keep watching it, I will get in the groove of it. Like, I didn't understand some of the jokes in Night Court, but then as it got more into like the 90s, I understood the jokes. leave me a line. Let me know if you ever want to come on the podcast. I'll be more than happy to accommodate that. We can set up a time. Again, I am house sitting, so I'll be in the house forever until March 5th. So drop me a line. Find me on Facebook. Most of you guys who listen to me have me on Facebook. Send me a message on Facebook. Whatever. So until next time, which probably will be tomorrow, have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.